A man will leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. Now, that is not talking about proximity. It is actually talking about alignment. I explained that to you in the last class. Now, when a man leaves his father and mother, it becomes a void pointer. Now, when he's going to join himself to the woman, to his wife, he has to typecast, meaning he has to move into understanding her emotion, her spiritual alignment, and a culture, right? So these are all the things I'm going to be teaching you in the concept of pointers. So today we are going to look at arrays and pointers. In the last class, we did pointers to one-dimensional array. So in this class, I'm going to teach you pointers to what? Two-dimensional arrays. Okay. So I'm going to declare a two-dimensional array. So I'll say int, I'll call it body, right? And then I will do this 2, and then I will do this 2. Okay, this is a two-dimensional array. I'm going to initialize it. So I'll say this, I'll do 1, 2. Then I'll do 1, 3, 4. Then I will close this. All right, this statement is the same thing as this. Right? I'm having 0, 1. So I have 1 inside here, 2 here, 3 here, and then 4 here. So this is 0, this is 1. Now I'll draw this. This is columns. And this is what? Rows. Right? So these are rows and these are columns. So this is a two-dimensional array. So just like your Excel sheet, you have the rows and then you have the columns, right? That is what you have, and just like a table. So, and then you're inserting the values inside. So how do you write this thing that I've drawn on the board? So what is the writing in C programming? So that is the statement that you are looking at. Now, how do I access these values? So first, I have to use a pointer. So the moment I do this, of course, I've taught you this in my two-dimensional array class. So how do you now move this into a memory that is what? One-dimensional, which is what? A linear. Right? So you have 1, 2, 3, and then 4. 0, 1, 2, 3. So you have 100, for example, the address 100. So this will be what? 104. This will be what? 108. And this will be 112. Right? So this is the memory. Right? So this is the table, and then you resolve it into this. Now I have to write a pointer to point to it. You know that in one-dimensional array, which is this is the one-dimensional array. Why this is a two-dimensional array. Now, the pointer pointing to a one-dimensional array actually points to the address of the first element, which means if I am going to declare a pointer, say P, this will point to what? I'll say int P. This will point to the address of, if this is body, so this will point to the address of body, which is 0, right? This for a one-dimensional array. Now, how do I declare a pointer to point to a two-dimensional array? If a pointer is going to point, it is going to point to the row. So it means the pointer is going to point to the first row, not the first element of the array. It's going to point to the first row, not the first element. So to achieve that, it means that I am going to write a pointer. Let's do this. Let's do this. So I'm going to say int pointer soul, and then I'll put this 2 in bracket. Now, if I do this, what this is simply saying that I am pointing to a basket with 2 hands. So this syntax is not correct. What I want is, I want to point to a basket that contains 2 fruit, because that is what this my array declaration is telling me. So to achieve that, I have to put this into parentheses. So when I put this into parentheses, then I assigned body to it. So this is my pointer declaration. So I am simply saying my pointer name is soul, right? It is a pointer pointing to an array, to the row, the first row to an array with 2 integers. So meaning I am pointing to an array with 2 integers. So the first row is carrying 2 integers. The second row is carrying 2 integers. That's why I'm having this. Now, if I do this, if I say int body, and I do this, and I do this, right? If I declare my array like this, and I'm going to initialize it, how will I do it? So this initialization will be 1, 2, 3. Then the second row will be 4, 5, 6. So if I'm to draw this, that would be this. I'll just do this. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm having 0, 1, 2. So this is what this is telling you. Now, if I'm going to do a pointer to this, the pointer will be int asterisk soul 3. So this will be my pointer, meaning I'm pointing to an array with 3 integers. So if the array is 2, that is 2 rows, it means each of the rows are carrying 3 integers. That is what this statement is telling me. So I have this, this, and this. Now, if I don't put this parenthesis, it means a different thing. So when you are doing incantation in your language, you must understand the syntax. Otherwise, you will say things that will rank on you. You study electrical electronics engineering, and you are going to wire a house. Electricity does not respect you. If you don't follow the rules, you will become suya. So when you are praying and you are saying certain things, you have to be very careful in order to not to place a curse upon yourself by virtue of how you position the syntax. It's very important. So this does not mean the same thing as this. So when I put this, I am saying point to a basket with 3 fruit. But if I remove this, I'm saying point to a basket that has 3 hands. They mean different things. So it's very important. So this is how you declare a pointer, to point to an array of 2 integers. So this is not pointing to the address of the first element. It is pointing to the first row. That is what this means. Now, if I'm going to access the variable, the value of this, so that will now be printf, then %d/n. I'm just putting my new line. Then I will say p. In this case, I'm using soul. Soul 0, 0, right? So this one will print out 1, which is this one, because the row is 0, so which is this first row, and then the column is 0, which is this first column. So where this and this meet is 1, so it's going to print out 1. If I do soul 0, 1, this one will print out 2, right? Because this is not the table. The table is this: 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 1, 0, 1, right? So 0, 1 will be what? First row, this one will give me 2. Then if I do soul 1, 0. This one will give me 3, right? Because I've moved to the second row and then the first column. That will give me 3. So if I do sol 1, 1, this one will give me what? 4. Meaning I've moved this second row and second column. So where they meet, we got is the field that will give me 4. So this is how you declare a pointer, right, to a two-dimensional array. So that is what I want to show you in this class. It's very, very important that you have to understand why you have to put this. Meaning the pointer is pointing to an array of 2 integers, the data type of the array. Because this array that you declared here is actually having this full, no, you are talking about frequency, you are talking about size. The space, the size allocated. So the total size of this array is 2 by 2, which is this. Now, if I'm going to do a pointer, the pointer is pointing to the first row, not the first element. In the case of a one-dimensional array, the pointer is pointing to the first element of that array. But in this case, the pointer is pointing to the first row. And then with that first row, you can now access the first element, which is this. You can equally write this using pointer arithmetic. As we go on, I'll keep showing you that. So that is what I want to show you in this class, how to declare a pointer. So I will go to code blocks and I will actually run this program for you to see. So till we see in the next class. This is our code blocks just to show you the output of the 2D arrays. So you can see I declare my 2D array body 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'm declaring the pointer sol pointing to the body. And then I'm going to pull out the value of the first element, the second element, the third element, and then the fourth element. So let's execute this for us to see what the output will be. So you see, it's giving me 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is what I want to show you in this class. I can do something here, but just to explain to you what will happen. This one, if I change this one to 2, which is wrong, this is what you call buffer overflow, and this is what the hacker can use to actually access, to control your system. So this is where pointer is dangerous. So you see, this one is trying to access what was not defined, and by doing that, it's going to access 3. So this one will also print out 3 for you to see. See, let's see. So you see, it printed out 3, which should not be. But because C is not going to check the boundary, it's going to allow you to access that memory location. But since in our program, that memory location contains 3. Now, if I do this, if I change this one to 2, now it is not in our script, but it's going to access it. So I change this one back to 1. Now, this one is not in our program. So it's going to access that memory and it's going to print out garbage value, or it's going to crash the program. Let's see. So you see, it accessed that memory location and it printed out a garbage value. So that is not proper because it's not doing boundary check. So this is a buffer overflow. So it's accessing the next memory after where this 4 was stored. So that is the danger of pointer. So that's what I want to show you in this class. Till we see you in the next class. Bye-bye.